Hi everybody, Dan Ullman here with the DRF.com Formulator Race of the Day for Wednesday, May the 31st. It's race number 2 at Woodbine. Let's take a look at this field. We're going a one-turn mile. It's an optional claiming race, and it looks like a nice betting event. My goal in here is to try to be against the two morning line favorites, the number 1 Mozart Melody and the number 4 Unbridled Piper. Two horses returning off long layoffs. They ran solid speed figures last year, but they're going to have to now do it against a competitive group off of the bench, and both horses in all of their races against winners have lost ground from the stretch call to the wire. We'll begin quickly with Mozart Melody, who earned an 80 Beyer speed figure in his most recent start. That figure would put him in very good stead in this race. But this is a horse that is known to settle for minor awards, 4 times third from 8 lifetime starts, and he returned off of a similar layoff last year as the favorite in a synthetic sprint. He ran well, but not well enough, finishing third. He's 5-2 on the morning line. You're not going to be surprised if he wins this race, but coming off of a layoff, it's enough of a question mark in my mind to try to be against him, as I am with the 4 Unbridled Piper. I'm not going to hold Unbridled Piper's most recent race against him. He chased a strong pace before backing up, and it was his first race preceding the layoff. His turf form is good, and he has good tactical speed, but that layoff is a little bit concerning. And again, in both starts against winners, he just lacked that stretch punch. They're solid horses. I'm not sure off the bench that they have an edge over this field. I'm curious to see what the Timeform US pace projector has in play, and as we see, the number 3, Court Savvy, a stretch-out sprinter, is expected to set the pace. And I really have no argument with this pace projector. This horse has shown sprint speed. He's got a little bit of stamina in his pedigree, which makes me think that this one-turn mile configuration is well within his scope. I am concerned that he might be slightly better on a synthetic surface than he is on turf. He raced 3 times on turf in New York for trainer Tommy Albertrani, showed speed and faded in all of those races, maybe against arguably tougher competition in New York, but I want to see him do it on the turf. He's 8-1 on the morning line. We do have a formulator fact for Court Savvy, the number 3. Over the past 3 years, with 3-year-olds not moving from synthetic to turf in the second start of the form cycle, this barn does excellent work. 40%, big ROI of 375, perhaps allaying fears somewhat that this horse is better on a synthetic surface. And unlike the 1 and the 4, the 2 morning line favorites, this horse has recency, a good solid performance off the bench. It should have him sharpened up for this race. The number 2 is Vintage Time, and Vintage Time is in pretty good form, an even effort last time out in his first start against winners. I wonder if this horse is slightly better on a synthetic surface. He's only raced twice on the turf. He didn't run well either time. He's been plying his trade recently on synthetic surfaces. He has good tactical speed. A slight Beyer boost, I guess, puts him in the mix at 12-1. I want to see him do it on the turf. Let's take a look at the 5, Augusto B. We've got a formulator fact here. Over the past 5 years, with 3-year-olds not moving from synthetic to turf, it's not a good number. 2%, a 52-cent return on investment. The last time Augusto B stepped on the turf, however, was 3 starts back at Tampa Bay Downs, and he won. He is only 1 for 16 lifetime. His most recent performance against similar on a synthetic surface is good. Augusto B often settles for minor awards, and I would use him underneath only in our DRF.com formulator race of the day. The number 6 Opening Remark once sold for $625,000. Things have not worked well for Opening Remark. He is only 1 for 16 lifetime. He's been dangled in for as low of a tag as $16,000, and in his most recent start sprinting, he did not run very well in a weak field, finishing 4th. The 7 is Coppersmith. It took Coppersmith 11 tries in order for this one to win his maiden. He did so at 1 1/16, albeit on a synthetic surface, and his 2 prior races on grass failed to excite. A horse that I think you have to use in multiple race wagers is the number 8 Leopard Cat. This is a very lightly raced 3-year-old son of Eye of the Leopard. I thought he ran well last time out at Gulfstream. It's a race that's already produced 2 next out winners, the 3rd place finisher going on to win with a 77 Beyer. And Leopard Cat doesn't have a lot of early speed. He was last on the rail on the final turn, altered course to the far outside, and he came with a good solid run. This horse at least has some upside potential. He's 5-1 in the morning line. First time Kevin Attard for Eurico Rosa da Silva. I'd use him in multiple race wagers. The 9 Gascader is a horse that I would use underneath. He's finished 3rd in both starts against winners, both races coming on a synthetic surface, and he ran into a sharp horse in Roxy's Vision last time out on November the 30th. That horse came back to run 2nd in open allowance company with with an 82, then 1 open allowance. Non-winners of 1 other than with an 83. And horse has won 3 out of his last 4, 4 out of his last 6. Gascator's taken on good company, but he doesn't have much speed, and he might be better on synthetic. Let's take a look at my top selection in this race. I am going to use Leopard's Cat in multiple race wagers. I'm going to use the 5, Augusto B, and the 9, Gascator underneath, but my top pick is the number 10. Mike, a lightly raced 4-year-old making his second start of the form cycle. This horse ran on the Queen's Plate last year. He finished last in the Queen's Plate in a race that preceded an extremely long layoff. Most recently, he came back at 6 furlongs. He drew the rail. And I thought it was a good, solid prep run for this barn. He tracked the pace down towards the inside. He altered course back to the rail in mid-stretch, and he finished evenly. He's been working steadily since then for this barn. The blinkers come off, and he is really bred for turf. This is going to be his turf debut, and he has a really strong turf pedigree. The number 10, Mike, at 8-1 on the morning line is going to be my top pick in our DRF.com formulator race of the day. 10, 8, 1, and 5 for me. If you're playing the Wednesday evening Woodbine card from home, DRF Bets invites you to be a VIP for a week. Head on over to drfbets.com/VIP. Start off with a $300 bonus and get lots more. Approximate post time for race number 2 at Woodbine, kicking off a $50,000 guaranteed pick 5, 7:14 Eastern. Best of luck.